Good afternoon, everyone. DJ Sai here, bringing you guys a video finally. I know I haven't made a video at all this week. School's definitely been kicking my butt recently. I had 3 labs and 2 midterms this week, so needless to say, yeah, that was exhausting. Just finished my last midterm about an hour ago. Feeling pretty good about it. But yeah. So today's Friday, so let's do another Friday commentary. A little bit of a longer video to make up for the time that I've lost. This one's going to be from the ARG Championship, round 1, and yeah, that's about it. I know this is ARG format, so some stuff to keep in mind. I don't really know what decks these guys are playing just yet because I haven't started the video, but Sir is at 1, Dante is at 2. For Shadal's, I think everything is. Let's just pull up the list. See what kind of changes they've made. I think Shadal's Construct is at 3 again, but I'm not entirely sure. I actually don't really know. Let's see. Okay, I guess I haven't changed it in a bit. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So okay, in the ARG format, the Nekroz deck at least is very similar to the Nekroz deck that we have in Konami format. The only difference is that Trish is banned in their format, which makes for some pretty interesting matches. And I think it's a little bit. I actually think that format's probably a little bit better than with Trish banned or with Trish illegal here. Believe it or not, I like the way the matches go. But yeah, Construct is no longer limited, so Shadal's only have 1 fusion or 1 L Shadal fusion. They only have 1 L Shadal fusion. Excuse me. So for the most part, yeah, they only have 1 L Shadal fusion, which is interesting because Shadals actually are still kind of viable in that format, believe it or not. And windups have some cool stuff going on with Magician at 3, Shark at 3, Zen Mighty Legal, all that fun stuff. But anyways, so yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's get back to the match. Yeah, let's just get started. Let's see what they're playing. Let's see, Matt, that's gonna be the guy on the left, and Corey's the guy on the right. Looks like Corey's going first, playing Rhoda. Stellars maybe? Yeah, that's definitely an alpha. So he's playing Stellars. Stellars. That's never a deck you really want to be sitting across from, to be perfectly honest. There's sometimes you win and sometimes you just can't do anything about it. Sometimes they just have Deneb in all the back row and definitely win. But yeah, that was definitely popular. It's definitely a popular deck in the ARG format. And so he opens Deneb, grabbing Vega. Yeah, if your opponent's playing Stellars, they Deneb grab Vega. That almost certainly implies they have Altair in their hand already. So I'm guessing he's got an Altair already. And let's see how many back rows he sets. Let's see if Matt's gonna get to play. So 3. Well, here, okay, it's gotta be. It can't be 4 because he had one of his cards in hand has to be an Altair. So 3. Okay, so he has Deneb, Vega, Altair, and 3 sets. Not too bad. I think I saw a Torrential in there too, so it's playable for Matt. Matt, I see a Senjuice in his hand, so he's playing Nekroz. I'm most certainly guessing. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. The labels was put up when I wasn't looking. Now, this is an interesting parallel here because when Tellers go first against Nekroz and they summon Deneb in set 3, I actually don't know if Corey won or lost the die roll because Tellers are going to choose to go first most of the time, and I think Nekroz would choose to go first, especially in this format because they can float Valkyris, which can be difficult for Tellers to get over without a trap card or a Regeki. So I'm pretty sure Corey won the die roll and decided to go first. But now we're in an interesting paradox because Matt has a Senju, he wants to summon it, but if he summons it and it gets alpha'd, that slows him down a lot and can potentially make his hand a brick. If he has an alternative way to play, like for example if he has a way to Kaleidoscope into Unicorn already, or play any ritual spell with Shrit and summon a monster, that would probably be a better idea than summoning the Senju right away, and so that if the other guy has alpha, he'll have to alpha the he'll have to alpha the ritual spell instead of the Senju, and even if he stops the ritual spell or the monster, then at least he'll still be able to summon the Senju and get his plays going with Unicorn. So that might be what Matt's going to do. Maybe he's forced to just summon Senju and has no other plays. Also, a good idea is if you have Regeki turn 1 against Tellers with Nekroz, you should probably just Regeki immediately to prevent the alpha from ever becoming a factor, solely because you're never really going to get value out of that Regeki elsewhere. So, we'll see. But it looks like Matt's just going to summon the Senju. And so, okay. Kind of implying that he has a hand, that Senju's going to make or break his hand. It gets Phoenix Chained. Okay, not as bad as it could have been. So no alpha. So now Corey doesn't have a way to get that Deneb into the graveyard immediately, but he does have alpha, or a Vega and Altair in hand, so he can potentially go for a Trevor play sometime in the near future. My guess is he's not going to want to bounce that Senju back to his Matt's hand, so maybe not going for Trevor right away. It would be nice to get the Phoenix Chain back, though. Matt plays Rhoda. That goes through. Possibly getting Shrit. Yeah, it looks like he's getting Shrit. Yes, he does not get Shrit. So, okay. Possibly having a Ritual Spell and something else. And let's see. I think I saw a Cycle in his hand. Yeah, certainly. A Cycle. I think I saw another Manju. Or just a Manju. Clauseless. Yeah, Clauseless is actually a good monster. Not too bad to summon in this matchup. Plays Cycle. Putting himself a little bit at risk of Mind Crush, but no Mind Crush from Corey. He reached Shrit and summon Gungnir. Relatively strong against this matchup. He'll be able to clear those back rows pretty easily. At least. And if Teller's, since he knows that Corey, the rest of Corey's hand is monsters, if he's able to get rid of those 2 trap cards that he has left, he'll have a good chance of winning the game. Grabs Brionac. Looks like he's holding Clauseless and Brionac still. So he has Clauseless, Brionac, and Manju in hand, I believe. Yes, certainly. Uses Clauseless. Grabs Kaleidoscope. Let's see if he's going to go for the full-on commitment and discard Brio for Unicorn, or if he's just going to attack. With the Manju in his hand for next turn, he can be a little reckless. Or not reckless, but maybe extend a little more than he would had he not have the Manju in his hand. But he does get Unicorn, so it looks like he's going to go for the Kaleidoscope play. Pretty much knowing that Corey doesn't have Mind Crush already, since he didn't Mind Crush the Cycle with the Shrit in hand. Now, after he summons the Unicorn, he can either choose to float that board, or alternatively make a rank 4. He'll probably choose to just float the board with the Unicorn on board, since he knows that Corey does in fact have Vega and Altair in hand. The unfortunate thing is I'm pretty sure I saw a Torrential, and yeah, I did. That's pretty unfortunate, because now Matt can't even use his Gungnir's effect, since the only card in hand he has is Manju. He will still get to search for Herald of Arclight and get another Ritual Spell, so this isn't that bad, but he's still minusing, I believe. Yeah, he'll be down a card, which isn't a good look since he did in fact go second. But he will have the Manju in hand for next turn, so he'll be able to set up another Kaleidoscope play fairly easily. He cannot chain Gungnir. I think he's just sitting there and thinking for a bit to maybe bluff the fact that he has a way to use Gungnir's effect, but he has no way. He has no way to respond to this. So this is definitely going through. And maybe search another Unicorn. Another Unicorn is a good option. I don't think he'll have a decent way to summon another Unicorn, but at the very least he'll have his play set up for next turn already, so that he can have a little bit more flexibility with his Manju depending on what he draws. And it looks like he's going to get another Unicorn. I can't think of a better card to get for him. Unicorn is definitely the most flexible card, because he has Brio and Gray, so his Unicorn can, if he wants a different Nekroz monster, he can discard Unicorn, get back Brio, search whatever he wants. He can get back Gungnir, perhaps going for that play again next turn. But, yep. And he's going to banish Kaleidoscope and Clauseless, I'm assuming. He also has Cycle in there. I wonder if he'll probably banish both, just to thin his deck a little. So, okay, he's not at a minus. He'll have 4 cards to Corey's 4 cards. Getting Kaleidoscope, probably going to banish Cycle and Unicorn for, my guess would be Mirror. Mirror, well no, probably another Cycle. Because he can always just use Unicorn to get back Shrit, and then he'll have a cycle play set up perfectly. I can see. I mean, I can see him getting either of them, but I think maybe cycle is probably better than mirror. Okay, he gets mirror. I wonder what Corey's last set is. Let's think about it. Corey didn't. So it's not Mind Crush. It's not Alpha. Could be a Battle Trap, potentially. My guess would be it's either a Battle Trap or like a Call or Oasis. One of those two, maybe. But I think Matt, his next turn's looking relatively unaltered, but yeah, he's gonna go for the Vega Altair play. And probably just gonna get another Altair attack, he could make Trigger and hit a card out of Matt's hand. And if he hits the Manju out of Matt's hand, that could be pretty devastating. Or yeah, I could see a reason to do that. Or he'll attack first, certainly. Yeah, he'll attack first and do more damage. So Matt's 51. Most likely gonna Trigger. I can't really see another play. Well, okay, I guess alternatively he could have made Rhapsody and banished the Shrit and the Gungnir, or Shrit and Brionac, which would make Matt's mirror in hand relatively dead. So I could, yeah. Alternatively he could Rhapsody, but the Trigger, yeah, the Trigger gives him, a backup in case his board gets broken. This would be really unfortunate. The only card Matt wants him to not hit, really, is the Manju, which he did in fact hit. That hurts. That really hurts. That really hurts. That sucks. Because now he has double Ritual Spell and Unicorn. He only has one play. Okay, he has two plays if the Collider goes through. Let's see what he draws. Did he draw another Manju? It looked like an orange card. No. He drew a Valkyris, I believe. So, okay, he has some stuff he can do, but without that Manju, he has no way to make like a Castel and get rid of the Trigger so he has no way to get rid of Trigger now without actually triggering its effect, unless he summons Brionac. And he does not have Cycle in his hand. See, this is why adding Cycle might have been a little bit better. Because if he added Cycle, then he could Unicorn back the Shrit, and then cycle with the Shrit and bring back Brionac, or set Shrit, or set Cycle, set Shrit, bring back Brionac, and then he could deal with the Trigger. Because he kind of had to assume that the Trigger play was coming since he knew Corey had Vega Altair in hand, and his set, the one set that he had, wasn't something that was stopping him from doing anything. It definitely wasn't Alpha. It could have been a second Phoenix Chain, but that's just unlikely. That's less likely than it being a Battle Trap or a Call. So, yeah, I think adding Cycle would have been better, honestly, than adding the Mirror, because now he's kind of stuck. Because the only way he's going to be able to get rid of that Trigger without triggering its effect would be Brionac, and he doesn't have an easy way to do that without having Cycle. But the Kaleidoscope goes through. That's, yeah, that set that Corey set is most certainly the set that he had the turn before. If he drew another card to set to his back row, I don't see any reason for him to not just set both of them. It looks like he drew. I can't see the card. But yeah, Matt's in an awkward position now. He doesn't have a way. He doesn't have a convenient way to get rid of that Trigger. He doesn't have a convenient way to do that at all. Especially just holding mirror, I guess. I mean, I guess he can just add Brionac and play the mirror, banish, shred, summon Brionac. That doesn't seem like a very... That doesn't seem like a very... That doesn't seem like something you'd want to do, though. Especially when you had the opportunity to do essentially the same play with Cycle and not have to banish or shred. And you get a card out of it. I see a Catastor, which he does in fact add, okay. But without Cycle, I don't know. Looks like he is holding Valkyris and Mirror, so he's going to Catastor that back, play the Mirror. Play the Mirror and summon Valkyris, which isn't that bad. Ooh, he had a second Torrential. Ouch. I don't think you can make that read, honestly. I don't think there's any way to read double Torrential. That's pretty unfortunate, though. Now if Matt wants to still summon that Valkyris that he was planning on, he's going to have to banish a Shrit. And he's going to Altair Deneb, get, I guess, assuming another Vega. Assuming, of course, he does play 2, which I'm sure he does. Yep, another Vega. So he has Vega Altair in hand, and some other card that we don't know, presumably another monster. Matt's gone through 3 ritual spells already, and gone through both of his Kaleidoscopes, so he doesn't have any more convenient ways to summon Unicorn, which is one of the best monsters you want to summon against this Tellers. I mean, the two things you want to summon the most against Tellers are Clausulus and Unicorn, and now he can't really conveniently summon Unicorn. And just having Mirror and Valk in hand, yeah, I don't even think you want to do that. Oh, I think he has to, actually. Yeah, I think he can just go Mirror, banish, Shrit, summon Valk, run over the Altair. At least then the Deneb is stranded on board. So Corey will either have to crash it into the Valk in order to set up his trigger play. He could still do the trigger play the other way, but then he wouldn't have any cards in hand. At least if you crash the Deneb, you know, you sacrifice a little bit of damage, but at least you get a Deneb search for your third Altair, and you still have a play set up for next turn, so I'm assuming that's what he would do. But yeah, looks like Matt's not even going to go for the Valk play, he's just going to set both his ritual spells. I mean, I can understand why he'd want to set both ritual spells. It's kind of pointless, though, because Corey knows both of them are ritual spells. Summons... Okay, so he's playing Star Seraphs. Oh my god, that is awful. What just happened? Oh, that was so savage. So that card in hand that he had before was... I think the card he had in hand was Scepter and he just drew Sovereignty, or he had Sovereignty and just drew Scepter. That is so savage. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. That's really unfortunate. I mean, honestly, I think Matt's probably still going to lose this game. But holy crap. That... That's the most savage way to lose possible. Let's see, did Matt have any control over losing that game? I mean, in all honesty, the only real mistake I saw him make, I don't know. He did kind of overextend into the first Torrential, which I guess Torrential's a card because Torrential is in fact a 2 in this format, so you have to make that read a little bit. You have to be a little more cautious, and you have to play around Torrential more than you would have in the normal Konami format. So, yeah, I guess he overextended a little too much into the first Torrential. And searching Mirror instead of Cycle was... Yeah, I think Cycle's better. It doesn't really matter because since he had the second Torrential, even if he went for the Cycle play into Brio, it would just get Torrential regardless. So it didn't actually... I don't think it affected the outcome of the game. But yeah, I think there was a way he could have played a little more conservatively. Because I don't like the sequence of his plays where he goes summon Gungnir and then goes for the Clauseless Brio to get Kaleidoscope Unicore. Because in that case, when you go for the Unicore and Unicore gets summoned, then you can't even chain Gungnir's effect to hit the other set, which ended up being a second torrential. So yeah, I don't think Matt fully thought out his plays, because he was just stuck with a Manju in hand, which ended up getting hit by Trevor, which is unfortunate. Don't get me wrong. Hitting a 1-4 Manju when any of the other cards doesn't hurt nearly as much is unfortunate. And obviously the drawing runner Scepter Sovereignty is pretty savage. But regardless, I don't think Matt had a chance of winning the game after he got hit by the first torrential. All right, so sliding for game 2. Let's see if I can just skip this. Yeah, I'm just going to skip the side decking part. Man, it's going to take forever to side. Alright, there we go. So I think, I'm assuming Matt just sided back row hate. Like Denko Decree. I saw Fairy Winds and MSTs in his side. So I don't even know if he sides Denko or Decree. He probably just sides those. Corey, he's just going to side more Floodgates. He's going to side like Mistake possibly, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Imperial Iron Wall maybe. Actually, probably not Imperial Iron Wall. They don't really. Half the reason they used to side Imperial Iron Wall is because of Trish, so probably not Iron Wall. I would assume he would side Anti-Spell Fragrance though, so let's see. Matt chooses to go first. I think you kind of have to, unfortunately. Nope, looks like he chose to go second. And Corey opens with Scepter, but no Sovereignty, thankfully. So Matt's not going to get completely blown out turn 1. I don't know. I think going second is the right play. Or going first, I'm sorry, is the right play against Tellers with Nekroz. I think you have to go first. Just because of all the Floodgates and all the back row hit you have to worry about. But Matt chooses to go second. He only has 2 sets to worry about, so not as bad as it could be. I see a Regeki. I think that was a Decree. Yeah, that's definitely a Decree. I see a Mirror. I think a Brionac. I can't really tell the rest. We'll find out. Clauseless, I think. Yeah, it's a Clauseless. Okay. So Matt opens relatively strong. I think the turn 1 Regeki play doesn't really apply here. I don't think you want to Regeki a Scepter. That could actually backfire on him, because then if Corey has a set called on it, then he actually has the Seraph combo set up. So maybe Matt doesn't even want to kill that Scepter right away. I think he probably wants to leave it there for a bit. Yeah, set the Decree pass. Okay, he sets 2. I wonder what the other one is. I don't think he set Regeki. Pretty sure Regeki's still in his hand. Uses Claws with that Kaleidoscope. So he's going to set a Ritual Spell and the Decree, I'm guessing. I think he just doesn't want to get hit with like Diamond Dire Wolf. Oh, he's going to set all his Ritual Spells, okay. Mirror, Kaleidoscope, Decree. Probably a good idea to protect his Decree from some random snipe. And if his Ritual Spells get hit, who cares? Ouch. Well, yeah. Okay. This game's pretty much over. This is like absolute, complete, and utter worst case scenario. This is getting scepter comboed twice. He's now in fact going to get to overlay with 2 scepters, get 2 pops, 2 draws, make Deltaros, pop the third one, so Matt's Decree is going to be gone. He's going to lose both of his ritual spells, and he's only going to be able to search 1 more back. Yeah. I don't... That's... Oh man, that's so bad. Nothing you can do about that. And I'm honestly, I'm dead serious when I say there's really nothing you can do about that. Gonna make Deltaros. He's gonna hit two back row, and he can't respond to. And he hit the Decree. Draws 2 cards. He's gonna pop the third one. Gonna have like a million cards in hand. Yeah. Matt's on his way out. Really frustrating. I don't blame him for being frustrated. Really, what do you do? Looks like Corey has like an Imperial Iron Wall in his hand. So he's got some floodgates too. So yeah, that Iron Wall is going to stop Matt from even getting to another ritual spell by banishing from his graveyard. Because I think at this point Matt's only win condition is like Satellarknight. Since Trish isn't even legal. So he can't come back with Trish, so he has to Satellarknight or something. So he's going to road it, now he's going to get a Deneb. So now he has access to his Teller engine. Yeah, he's not even cutting his deck. Yeah, Matt very visibly frustrated. You can tell by just his body language and look on his face. Yep. Now Corey's going to set 3, so now full 5 back row. He's going to flip the Imperial in Matt's draw phase. Matt does have Regeki, but that's not really going to hit much. Deltaros is going to get something out of his deck. Oh, he has anti-spell too? Anti-spell and Imperial? Okay. So now Matt can't even use Regeki. This is like the sickest setup ever. Because anything Matt sets is going to get... He has to set his spell cards. They're going to get hit with Deltaros. So even if you wanted to play the Regeki won't do much because Corey will get something out of his deck with Deltaros. That's presumably a Deneb. Or no, probably a Vega. Vega summoned Deneb out of his hand. But can't even play that Regeki. But his Regeki cycle, I think Matt's just going to sit there and be salty for a bit. And he's going to scoop. Maybe he'll play on a little bit longer, but there's really nothing he can do to get out of this. If he can somehow manage to resolve an Satellarknight, he might get back in the game, but I don't see how he would ever be able to do that. He has no way to get to any more ritual spells. Outside of that cycle, he's probably never going to get to play that cycle or that Regeki. He's just going to set them, I guess, and end his turn. That's all he can really do. He has Brio Decisive Armor, I believe. Okay, well if he can get Decisive Armor on board somehow, maybe he'll have a chance. But yeah, he's just going to add Valkyris, which he can't even use because of Imperial. So he's just going to add that and set some back rows, but there's really not much to do here. Corey, I see a Deneb and an Altair. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I would do here. He's thinking of flipping a call. Okay, this is just savage. Now Matt's gonna lose both of his sets. Got another Sovereignty. Gonna normal summon Deneb. Gonna overlay all 3 for, I guess, his second Deltaros if he plays it. If he doesn't play a second Deltaros, I don't know. Well, no, he doesn't even have to do that. I think at this point you just summon a monster attack for game, right? Summon Deneb attack for game. So I mean, it's not like Matt can do anything. It's a cycle. I mean, if Matt somehow lives, then he'll get to play Rieki, but like literally all Corey has to do is just summon attack for game. There's nothing Matt can do. Corey doesn't even have anything to be scared of. Even if Matt torrentials, it's like, okay, he still has anti-spell Imperial to worry about. Corey still has a million cards in hand. He's gonna get to search for that Deneb. Just summon search attack for game. All you can do. Yep, that's game over. Matt gives him the handshake at least, so good sportsmanship, despite the fact that he got pretty much utterly savaged. You know, I can't even. This all comes back to game one, you know? Game one was reasonably winnable for Matt. Matt's hand was pretty strong. But it was just like, let's see, let's go back. Since that match was relatively short. Yeah, let's go back a bit. Let's go back to game one. Okay, let's go all the way back. Okay, that's when let's go back to when he got torrential. Because that was pretty much the reason why he lost the first game. Yeah, let's go back to just the very beginning of his turn and look at his hand. Senju, Rhoda. Yeah, I think his hand was Senju, Rhoda, Manju, Brio, Clauseless, and what was his sixth card? Let's see. It was Cycle. Senju, Manju, Brio, Rhoda, Clauseless, Cycle, where he uses 6 cards. That's a, you know, he can really do a lot with that. And I don't think he had to overextend into the torrential. Like, his Senju didn't even get stopped by Alpha either. That's not even worst case scenario. You know, it gets stopped by Fiendish Chain, which isn't a minus. You know, it's a 1-for-1. And the matchup here is a little bit more difficult because you can't Trish him. So the only way he can banish Corey's Denebs out of graveyard is with Rhapsody. But I get why Matt wanted to summon Gungnir, and I don't even necessarily think summoning Gungnir was a bad play. But I think overextending and summoning the Unicorn with it when all he had was Manju in hand, like let's just play this. Let's go into when he got torrentialed. Fast forward. So he just ditched a Clauseless, or he played Cycle, Tribute Shred, summon Gungnir, and added Brio, and then he discarded Clauseless to get Kaleidoscope. Now he's gonna discard Brio to get Unicorn. The fact that now when he's gonna play the Kaleidoscope, summon the Unicorn, he's only gonna have Manju in hand so he can't chain Gungnir to anything. At least not until he adds with the Herald. So he actually puts himself in the worst position ever to get wrecked by torrential. I think alternatively, what he could have done a few things. I mean, up to here, I don't think this is even a bad play, honestly. Like, Matt's holding Manju and Clauseless, and he's gonna add Brio. Like right here, I don't even think this is bad. This is actually pretty good. He can just, like here, I wouldn't. I think the best play here would just be attack with Gungnir, and Brio maybe get something you'd. Maybe Brio and get something you'd want. The other thing he could have done, since he plays Catastor, I'm almost certain he plays Decisive. What he could have done is Brio for Decisive Armor, and then play the Cycle and summon Decisive right away. Decisive is probably the best tool that Nekroz has against large amounts of back row. And I think that at that point, Corey would be forced to torrential. So, I mean, summoning Decisive Armor in that way draws out any torrential, and Matt doesn't get wrecked by it. He doesn't even minus. He would get his Shred Search, and then he would get to search for the ritual spell. So it's like he would have... He wouldn't lose any advantage at all, and he would get rid of a torrential. There are 2 torrentials here. Both of these sets are torrentials. Matt has no way of knowing that. But I think at least summoning the Decisive Armor with the cycle, instead of going for the Gungnir, is a relatively decent play. I mean, I'm not saying the Gungnir play is even bad. Like, if you just sit there and float with the Gungnir, and like you attack the Deneb, right? And then next turn, Corey's gonna go for. Let's see. He knows Corey has Vega Altair. Maybe instead of, so he can either go for the Decisive Armor play, like I said, or what else? He could just go for Unicore. He could just like ditch Brio, ditch Clauselus, get a Kaleidoscope Unicore, and summon the Unicore first. And I think at that point he can go for he can do an Exciton Knight play. Let's see. He has Senju in 5. He'll play Kaleidoscope, add summon Unicore, add whatever. So he'll still have 6 cards. Yeah, okay. He won't have a way to do that. Will he? Wait, yeah, yes he will. Right, he'll have 5, he'll play Kaleidoscope. And summon Unicore, so he'll have 3, he'll add to 4 cards in hand, he'll overlay for Exciton Knight. Yeah. And then he'll have 5 and Corey will have 6. So yeah, he could have just done that instead. Because the fact Corey flipped Phoenix Chain on the Senju, so he knows Corey doesn't have alpha. Essentially. I mean, I pretty much knows Corey doesn't have alpha. I think he would have alpha'd the Senju. So he could just go for the Kaleidoscope play, summon Unicore, overlay for Exciton Knight. Hit the rest of the sets. Because like if he knows he doesn't have alpha and he already flipped a Phoenix Chain, what are the chances he has another Phoenix Chain? Instead of having double Phoenix Chain, these 2 could be anything. I mean, you already played the cycle, so you already kind of commit to getting wrecked with Mind Crush. Like the fact that he does this means he's already kind of accepting that if Corey has Mind Crush for his Shrit, then he's gonna get punished pretty hard. Because see, if he's holding Clauselus and Brionac in his hand, so Clauselus, Brionac, and Gungnir in his hand. So if he plays this cycle, right? If he plays the cycle and his Shrit gets Mind Crushed, which it doesn't, but if it did, he is holding Clauselus and Senju, so he'll have to resolve it. He'll still have to resolve his cycle using Senju and Clauselus to summon Gungnir. So at the very least, yeah, if Corey were to flip Mind Crush on his Shrityer, the game would essentially be over, since Matt would minus so much. I think if you're gonna do this, you have to at least get the Clauselus out of your hand, so that at least if your Shrit gets hit with Mind Crush, chain to cycle, you won't have to resolve it. You won't have a way to resolve it. So at the he should have at least very much done that, so he doesn't completely lose to it. But let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, you could do that. Alternatively, he could have just ended his turn, you know. And end your turn. You know, strand Corey's Deneb on board, so that he can't, if he wants to trigger you, he's not going to be able to get anything. He's going to have to go Vega Altair, overlay everything for trigger, which that's not going to be good. Because then you're going to give him back his Senju, so he'll have to kill the Senju, which is Phoenix Chain will die, and then I don't even think trigger will be worth it at that point. You won't even get your Phoenix Chain back. I think he'll just minus, especially since these are both torrentials. He's not going to go for that commitment with torrentials. So if Matt would have just ended his turn on the Senju, Corey would probably just draw. His draw would have been Scepter. It was either Scepter or Sovereignty. I don't remember which one it was. Probably Sovereignty, or no, it could have been either one. But regardless, if he draws Sovereignty, fine. Then he summons Sovereignty, adds, or if he draws Scepter, then fine. Summons Scepter, adds Sovereignty, attacks. So the Senju dies, the Phoenix Chain dies, but Corey still, all he has is a double torrential set. So then Matt would be able to use his Manju next turn, and then potentially go for an Exton play or something else. At the very least, in that case, you can play around Mind Crush a little bit better. Because if he didn't want to summon the Manju, he would summon the Manju, but if he didn't, he could set the Shrit and go for the cycle play that way. So that he doesn't die, he doesn't get completely destroyed by Mind Crush. So yeah, good plays here. I don't like the cycle for Gungnir, especially not with Clauseless in hand. Good plays here were end your turn. Because I mean, what are you scared of? You're not gonna die. Especially when he just has Vega Altair in hand, you definitely won't die. So yeah, just end your turn. He could go. You could just ditch Brio and ditch Clauseless, get Kaleidoscope and Unicorn, and just play a Kaleidoscope. That unfortunately does lose to Mind Crush. That doesn't play around Mind Crush. So I think I don't even think this cycle. I don't think the cycle play is very good. I probably, even if you discard the Clauseless to get Kaleidoscope first, I just don't like the cycle play right now. He doesn't have to do it. It's like unnecessarily losing to Mind Crush. Instead, he could have just, yeah. I think end your turn is better than play cycle for Gungnir. Like, I can understand him wanting to put pressure on Corey before Corey sets up too much, but it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary and way too risky. Yeah. He could. Yeah, there's that. So just end your turn. Go for the Kaleidoscope Unicorn play and X-Ton him. Go for the Decisive Armor play. I think the best out of those options is just end your turn here. Let him play a little, instead of just showing him all your cards immediately. Because then he just gets hit with Tarantula. Yeah. Sorry if I'm analyzing this play too much, but this is honestly the play that decided the fate of Matt's fate of the entire match. This is like the critical turn, even though it's Matt's first turn. So, but this match didn't last very long. Or this first game didn't last very long. I mean, the match in general didn't last long at all. The second game, there's really nothing to analyze. Or nothing to look at. Corey, Scepter comboed him on the second turn. And then the game was over on the second turn. So there's nothing to look at there. This game didn't last very much longer after Matt got Tarantula either. So this is really the only real gameplay you can look at and sort of critique and see what he could have done better. So yeah, I would have liked to see him either A, end his turn after the Senju getting Phoenix Chain. That's perfectly okay. Maybe adding with something like maybe searching with Clauseless or Brionac first. Maybe using Brionac to get Unicorn and then using Clauseless to get something in your turn after that. Like some combination, like some combination of him adding but not doing anything after, like not putting anything else on the board. So that's okay. Going for Decisive Armor is okay, I guess, but yeah, I think at some point you're going to want to Exton Knight him. And you're going to want to Exton Knight him fast before he gets a chance to draw more traps to stop your Exton Knight. Because at this point, I think you have to make the read that Corey doesn't have any more traps to stop you, or to stop your effects. Since he didn't have Alpha and he already used a Phoenix Chain. And even if your Exton Knight even if he has double Phoenix Chain, your Exton gets Phoenix Chain, it's not necessarily that bad. It's not the end of the world. Your Exton dies, you get to add for your ritual spells. Ritual spell, it would only be a Kaleidoscope. No, your Exton dies next turn, but even he still has to deal with the Exton Knight, but not only that, he has no way to get his Nevin Grave, so it's not like he's gonna be able to do much after the turn after with only Vega Altair in hand. He's not gonna wanna. Well, okay, in that case he would go for the Trigger and bounce both of those Phoenix Chains. But you're still not minusing from that. He's getting double Phoenix Chain back, and if you know he has double Phoenix Chain, you can sort of do some stuff. Well, yeah. Yeah, so you don't want to go with the Exton Knight play right away. I don't think. Maybe you just... Yeah, honestly, I think the best play here was just end your turn after the Senju gets negated. Or, you know, search a little bit, but for the most part, not putting any cards on the board after Senju gets negated. Just give him another turn. At least put him in a situation where he has to kill the Senju with the Deneb, especially when he already has another Manju, so kill the Senju with the Deneb. Phoenix Chain dies, so you don't have to worry about that coming back with Trigger. And if he does decide to Trigger, then he's going to have to give you back your Senju. Like, he's not going to be able to kill your Senju and keep that Phoenix Chain with Trigger, so... Yeah, so he would probably just kill the Senju. He draws Scepter off the top, finds some Scepter, you take a little more damage, and maybe he makes a rank 4. But it's not, like, this isn't going to be in the graveyard, so he's not going to have to worry about your Shriek getting Rhapsody or anything. There's no good rank 4 for him to make other than a Dweller. Yeah, but... Okay, Dweller does kind of suck, but... You just gotta cut your losses at that point, right? In order for him to make, like... You can't really expect him to draw another monster. I mean, he already has 2 in hand. And him making Dweller with either the Vega or the Altier is just not favorable. So yeah, I would have liked to see Matt play a little more conservative. Like, ultimately, he just had to play a little more conservatively. He got too aggressive here, overextended into a format where double torrential is a thing, and he got punished for it. So that's ultimately it. Alright, well, I hope you... Oops. Almost spilled my drink. I hope you appreciated this commentary. It doesn't... one of the main things that you can take out of this commentary is certainly that every turn matters. And giving your opponent, you know, extra turns to draw into stuff that can blow you out is just critical. And especially when you're playing against a deck like Teller's, with a Nekroz, literally every play counts, and you got to be really sharp in order to beat a deck like this, especially when you have double torrential in a format. So yeah, he just needed to tie up loose ends ultimately, but is it not recording anymore? Oh, okay, it was already recording. Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for joining me. Excuse me, I couldn't see the recorder. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, and if you like this video, tell your friends about it. I'm sure they'll be able to take something out of it just as you can. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video.